nila, kinuha ko bilang janitor or utility at tagalinis ng mga gym. Habang nagtatrabaho ako dati, gusto ko talaga magboxing at saka magiging professional kasi after the work, talagang nagsisikap na ako na kahit ako lang mag-isa, saan magja-jogging kami mga 5 o'clock, tapos kami mga 7. Kasi pag 8, trabaho na ako eh. Pag sa gabi, mga 5 training namin, mga 1 or 2 hours lang yung training namin. So ngayon, nakamit ko na yung mga, so talagang sobrang happy talaga yung nararamdaman ko ngayon.
And now let's go to ring announcer Joe Martinez for the official introductions.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, from the fabulous Forum, Inglewood, California, the co-main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing this scheduled for the vacant WBO Super Flyweight Championship of the World. Sanctioned by the WBO, the supervisor in attendance, Richard DeCure. And your 3 judges scoring at ringside, Max DeLuca, Robert Hoyle, and Daniel Sandoval. When the action begins inside the ring, your referee in charge, Jack Reeves. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black and gold, he weighed in officially 114 1/2 pounds. In 26 professional bouts, his record, 24 victories, 2 defeats, 20 big wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the WBO Intercontinental Super Flyweight Champion from Baguio City, Philippines, Mighty Aston Paligte! And across the ring stands his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing tonight purple and silver. He weighed in officially 114 3/4 pounds. This veteran has 41 victories, just 1 defeat, 4 bouts even, and 23 wins coming by way of knockout, presenting the former 3-time, 3-division world champion from Bacolod City, Philippines. Here is the Snake, Donni.
Am I following? Ask this guy, am I following your command? Right here. Okay, gentlemen, you both acknowledge that you understand enough English to follow my commands, and I expect you to do so. Protect yourself at all times. Fight hard, fight clean. Good luck to both of you. My man.
Nietes is in his mid-30s, which is very old for a lighter weight fighter. But if you, your friends, love seeing a master boxer, guys just nice with his, you like watching Terrence Crawford or Lomachenko, or liked watching Floyd or Purnell back in the day, call your friends now, tell them Nietes is fighting.
And in any weight class, Andre Ward, and we've seen this throughout the history of boxing, if you're going to have an exceptionally long career, whether you're talking about a heavyweight like George Foreman or whether you're talking about a 115-pound fighter like Donni Nietes, have craft. If you're going to have a really, really long career, the way to do that is know what you're doing in the ring and reduce it to a science and pursue that diligently every day.
Yeah, Nietes has done that, and the proof is in the pudding. He's currently on a 14-year winning streak. He's the longest reigning Filipino champion, not Manny Pacquiao, Donni Nietes, and that is for a reason. He's in this fight tonight with a bigger, stronger, younger guy. So it's going to be interesting to see him pull his, tricks out of the bag, so to speak, and put his craft on display to offset the hard-charging Paligte.
Yeah, on the surface, if you were from all other sports and you didn't know anything about boxing, you might walk in and say, oh, this looks like a physical mismatch. But of course, in boxing, there are ways to use a guy's length and height against him, and that's what Nietes is likely to be showing us in the coming rounds.
But mid-30s, as I said, it's ancient for this weight class traditionally in boxing. And one day, he's going to put the pedal to the metal, and nothing's going to happen. And Paligte is a long fighter, a very big guy for the division, much younger, and a power puncher. So Nietes has to be careful, but he is so relaxed in there, and he has every tool in the toolbox. He has a complete arsenal as a boxer.
I don't think, based on our fighter meeting yesterday, that Nietes is bothered by the reputation or the punching power or the size of Pelecte. He basically told us that this is an easy style for me, but we'll see.
Well, and he's well aware of Pelecte. He's been watching him for years, as he told us. He said, oh, no, he's from my province. He's a friend of mine. We're still going to be friends after the fight also. So, you know, it's the kind of thing where Nietes sees this as being well within his professional envelope, the kind of thing he thinks he knows how to do. But Max's point is quite correct. For everybody, there's a moment when you show up and suddenly you find you're off the diving board, and nobody knows it before the moment arrives.
Right, and it doesn't always happen overnight. Sometimes we do see a guy grow old overnight, but I would say the majority of the time you kind of see the writing on the wall, and we haven't seen the writing on the wall from Nietes in his last previous fights. He still seems to be sharp. He's a young 36. If the reports are true, he stays in the gym. His lifestyle is clean. And if you're going to have longevity in this sport, you have to live right outside of the ring. So when you get inside the ring, that shows.
And, of course, somewhere promoter Roy Jones Jr. is watching and saying, you watch, guys. Tonight is the night. I know my guy is ready to pull off the big upset in this one. Referee Jack Reese signaling the end of round number 1. I mentioned him at the beginning of the first fight as one of the top referees in California. Had an awful lot of Andre Ward assignments in his career.
That's a good guy.
Okay.
Mora na. Sige lang, tuslok.
Just continue.
Tuslok lang.
Just
Kuhanan mo siya.
drink.
Bantayo lang yung straight mo. Bantayo yung labyo kay itaas lang yung kamot mo.
Yeah, raise your
Bantayo yung
hand.
labyo, okay?
Okay, raise your
Focus,
hand.
tanaw niya, wala sa dapit siya. Kailangan lang kini ang job mo, yung importante na.
It's just important. It's important. Just raise your hand.
Yeah, I will never forget Jack Reese, Andre Ward, calling a halt to your fight with Edwin Rodriguez and making it look for all the world as though it was an even-handed lecture to both sides on not allowing fouls to ruin a real prize fight. But we know he was really talking to Rodriguez at that moment, and he laid down the law in an extremely effective way.
Yeah, Jack pretty much threatened to take our purses. I don't know if I've ever heard a referee do that in a real prize fight. I love Jack, but I wasn't trying to hear it in that moment. I was trying to get my respect from Rodriguez, and I did. I was able to calm him down, kind of tame him, so to speak, so I can get back to boxing.
Round 2 between Aston Pelecte with the long arms, great height for this division.
Like really long, like just a really long fighter for the division. You can see Nietes thinking he's out of punching range and at times being touched a little bit, which he's not used to, from a range where he must be thinking he shouldn't be able to hit me from out there.
Yeah, but if we just see these two straight right hands that Nietes just landed, he just got hit with the right hand.
Yeah,
you see the right hand that he landed to the body, he was able to land those shots and get out of the way. So Nietes has shown that he's a master of distance and range.
Hard right hand right up the middle by Donni Nietes.
Yes, clearly that is true what you said, Andre. I just that he's been hit kind of cleanly more often than we're used to seeing early from a guy who you might not expect it from, who doesn't seem to be on his skill level and yet can hit him from so far away.
Again, but we can't shortchange the strength. Like Pelecte is very, very strong. He's physically imposing. So Nietes, in order to box and tame this young man, he's going to take some shots.
Moments ago, Pelecte drove Nietes' left glove directly into his face, demonstrating he could overpower Nietes' guard and hit him with his own glove, in effect, because of the power of his stroke.
Kind of swatted his guard away.
Pelecte is just missing that straight right hand.
And Donni Nietes would say, yeah, but he's missing it.
Pelecte, yeah, he is missing it, but he's getting closer. But Pelecte, he doesn't have another way to throw it. He's going to throw it like that the whole fight, and that's the downfall for a puncher like him.
The thing about Nietes is he's fearless. You know, you think about a great defensive fighter, and there, I think, is a misconception. In boxing, it's called being a scary fighter, like you're scared to get hit. But in fact, the great defensive fighters are the fearless ones who don't. It's no big deal. You know, they're just plying their craft.
Don't push.
Well, I mean, I fully expect to see Nietes stepping inside of Pelicte's power, you know, and essentially daring him, saying, you know, go ahead, try to hit me. I can find you from inside here while you can't find me.
Running and holding is not great defense, but doing what Nietes is doing.
Hard right hand by
What Andre used to do, what Floyd did, that's great. Purnell, that's great defense. You're in punching range, you're out of punching range. Your eyes peeled on your opponent, not holding, not running, boxing.
September 19. Tune in for another edition of The Fight Game, airing 4 days after the rematch between Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin. Fight fans will get in-depth highlights and analysis of the big fight. Bernard Hopkins will tell you what happened technically. Plus, don't miss a special feature about the close relationship former heavyweight champions Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe have developed 25 years after their memorably violent trilogy.
Just raise your hand.
Here we see the crafty Nietes throwing a little prodding jab, and he comes behind it with the right hand. That may not seem like much right now, but if Pelicte doesn't make the adjustment, that shot landed a few rounds from now could be the end of the fight.
And by the way, slipping Pelicte's right hand at the same moment that he landed his own right hand. So that was James Toney-esque in effect. You know, that he...
It's funny you say James Toney, because he's done some things. Toney wasn't as bouncy on his feet, but he has some kind of calmness to his defense that Toney had, with no wasted movement in order to make his opponent miss the punch.
We're in the second of the 3 fights on our Superfly card here at the Forum in Los Angeles. 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Pacific Time. You're looking at Donni Nietes, longtime titleist in the 115-pound division. Or a longtime titleist at 108 and 112, I should say. Trying to become only the 3rd Filipino to win world championships in 4 weight classes, joining Manny Pacquiao and Nonito Donaire. And Nietes has a very interesting technical challenge tonight against a longer-armed, seemingly stronger, 9 years younger opponent in Aston Pelicte. And Nietes so far is showing you how craft can deal with physicality in a fight like this.
Craft, skill, experience, and the right lifestyle outside of the ring.
And by the way, discipline, because it's one thing to know what to do, and it's another thing to make your body go do it. It's not easy when those shots are coming from a big guy with a long range and real punching power to get inside and not sweat it and not hold and use your angles and continue to punch.
But that sequence in the last round that you and I were talking about, Max, the throwing the jab to hide the right hand, delivering the right hand straight up the middle right behind it, and casually ducking the right hand coming back almost as though it was just a natural part of the same movement. That was James Toney to me.
Right, because he knows what the combination's going to be. He's already anticipating it, and because of that he's calm and he can see. And if the opponent makes an adjustment, because he's calm, he can also make the adjustment.
Perfect lead left hook by Donni Nietes, and he steps away to a place where Pelicte can't find him even with his long arms.
Actually a good shot from both men. Pelicte's landed harder.
Okay.
Some heavy leather being thrown by both men right now, but I would venture to say that Pelicte's throwing his just to be throwing his. He knows he's strong and he's letting his shots go. Some are landing, some aren't.
Which is the right thing for him to do.
That's who he is. Nietes is setting his shots up. He's intentionally trying to land certain shots in certain places.
Pelicte ain't going to outbox him. He wants to catch him hard at the end of a big shot.
Smile on Pelicte's face as he goes back to his corner. Trying to enjoy his work. 3 rounds into this, can you hear it? 12-round fight.
Okay, everything's good. Look, concentrate on your jab. Concentrate on your jab.
Importante na kay counter.
It's important to counter.
Tanawa gid sa kayo, tanawa. Tutuki sa kayo, tutuki.
Just target it and keep on targeting it.
Kalit-kalit siya kay hindi nakabot yung bang lato lang pero bantay ka ha.
Just guard.
Apitat gahay kayo. Gahay ano? Tik-tik lang ha. Okay.
Just keep on jabbing.
CompuBox numbers through the first 3 rounds tell us that both fighters are fighting their fight. Palikte coming in as a low percentage guy. He lands only about 20% of his punches. He's landed only 14% of the punches he's thrown tonight, but he's thrown a lot more than Nietes, who lands at a higher percentage and is doing so in this fight. Harold Letterman, our unofficial ringside scorer. How do you have it through the first 3 rounds, Harold?
Okay, Jim, I got a 29-28, 2 rounds to 1, Donni Nietes. Jim, I thought Donni Nietes outboxed him in rounds 1 and 2, but I thought that Palikte came back real nice in round 3, and I thought he won that round. 2 rounds to 1, Donni Nietes.
2 rounds to 1, close fight on Harold Letterman's unofficial scorecard as we go to the 4th round. Donni Nietes, 36-year-old veteran in the purple trunks. Aston Palikte, 9 years younger, in the black trunks with gold trim.
I mean, Palikte is finding Nietes kind of easy to land on this round, Andre.
Palikte's having moments for sure, but I don't get the sense that Nietes is rattled in the least bit. He knows that he's going to take some shots again to cut down this tree, so to speak. This is a young, strong guy.
No, he does not seem rattled, but it doesn't change the fact that he is being hit.
He's being hit, but I guarantee you he's also trying to run Palikte into something, not just taking shots for the sake of taking them. Too much experience in that ring right now from Nietes to not be thinking like that.
But he's not been as offensively active in this round as in the 3 preceding rounds. Now he lets a right hand go.
At this level of the game, the difference between, you know, just a real good pro and a master is the master has a plan. And he does everything in service of that plan. All his tactics are in service of his strategy, and certainly that applies to Nietes.
I wonder if a part of the plan is to take the 4th round off, because he just hasn't been nearly as active offensively in this round and seems to be conserving energy for later in the fight right here in round 4.
It's a veteran move to take a round off. And for those that don't know, it's when a fighter takes a round off, you're not throwing as many punches. You're still trying to be as defensively responsible as possible. You know you'll probably lose the round. In the exchange that you'll have more win for the next round.
Meaning he's planning something maybe a little bigger for the 5th.
Well, you talked about a game plan for the veteran. Nietes is certainly trying to take the younger fighter deep. He's only been 10 rounds twice and 12 rounds once. That's not lost on Donni Nietes.
Either he has taken the 4th round off, or something Palikte has done has caused him to want to be a little bit more conservative and keep his hands at home. But Donni Nietes simply hasn't thrown many punches in the 4th round compared to what happened in the 3 preceding rounds.
Impressive round for Palikte. Didn't hit him a ton cleanly, but he won the round.
And there's Juan Francisco Estrada, who is the star fighter in the main event against Felipe Urucuta, much less well-known Mexican fighter, both of them from Mexico. Estrada, who lost a close decision a few years ago to Roman Chocolatita Gonzalez, lost an extremely close decision to Srisaket Sorundisai on the last Superfly triple header. And there's Urucuta, who gets a chance to take on Estrada and try to totally redevelop his own reputation and resume tonight in the main event. And there's a look at downtown Los Angeles. The traffic streaming through on the 101. And skyscrapers of the downtown business district surrounding us as we are at the fabulous forum in nearby Inglewood for World Championship boxing action on this Boxing After Dark triple header. Harold Letterman gave the 4th round to Palikte, and again, by my lights, it appeared that Nietes either took the round off or for some reason wasn't willing to be active against Palikte's big power shots. There's a straight right hand by Nietes after a series of jabs and crosses by Palikte, and there's another quick right hand inside.
I mean, Nietes just landed 2 clean right hands. And to Andre's point from the previous round, seemed to have a plan to plaster Palikte with some real stuff this round, at least early on.
Well, I'm sure that's part of it, Andre. You said it's a smart move for a veteran fighter to take a round off. Probably the continued smart move is to come out in the next round and land some thunder in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, he's not only landing it, but I love the way he's landing it. He allows the younger fighter to get overconfident. Nietes will roll off the ropes, and he'll come back with not just an average right hand, but a big right hand. He'll circle around the ring. He'll kind of plod around. You think he's not doing much, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, another big right hand lands, and the younger fighter still looking at Nietes like a deer in the headlights. He has yet to make the adjustments to get out of the way of the right hands of Nietes, and that could prove to be trouble down the road.
But Palikte is already showing stuff that Nietes has to go to that degree of subtlety in order to overcome him, or try to.
Hard right hand by Nietes momentarily stunned Palikte. Palikte shaking his head as if to say, I'm not hurt. Usually that means you got buzzed.
It's not quantity with Nietes, it's quality punches.
For sure that. I mean, you compare this to Palikte's success in the previous round. Mostly deflected, mostly partially blocked punches. And Nietes' shots are so clean.
Nietes came out with a whole different look on his face here in round number 5. It was clear this was a different form of business.
He had that round off, Jim. Got fresh legs this round.
Stop, nobody punch. Step out, Donni. Box.
Fascinating.
Master boxer, Donni Nietes. Palikte is still in the fight, but you have to acknowledge the subtleties of Nietes and what he's doing to the younger fighter right now.
Get him up.
Yeah, the nuance of his skill. Nietes is not only very technically skilled, but also very experienced. So knows how to apply the technique.
It's like a major league pitcher. The first time through the lineup gives you all fastballs and sliders, and the second time through the lineup, nothing but curves and changes. It's the same kind of thing.
That's exactly right.
Time.
September 25, the next Real Sports profiles Dale Earnhardt Jr., now beginning his second act as a racing broadcaster.
Wash your face. Wash your face. Go to your left or right. Just keep on the jab. And go up and down. Straight jab.
Jab, split hook, after. Jab, split hook,
Fresh off of Donni Nietes taking a round off. He gets hit with a short right from his opponent. He rolls off the ropes, and he comes back with a monster right hand to the chin.
Ducking the left hand in return. And
here we go again. He slips the jab, gets hit by the right, but lands a bigger right of his own, and followed by a left hook.